Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central. It's the beginning of a brand new week, and boy, we're buzzing with excitement. I've never seen Olive this excited in a long time. She's so happy. Olive, tell me about your weekend. Did you win the lottery? Because the excitement you brought and the energy into the studio this morning is off the roof, is off the charts, is popping.
That is popping heavy. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Well, it's the beginning of a brand new week. We have a lot in store for you today. There will be reconciliation. We have so much to discuss, policies too, and insightful discussions. As always, I am Gbenga and
Yes, and I'm Olive MRD. Thank you very much, Gbenga. I've done the intro really for the show today, and it was you asked me how my weekend was. My weekend was good.
I saw you. You were dancing like David in church yesterday, and it's worth celebrating our mutual friend.
Yeah,
it's absolutely a good thing to give glory.
We took our twins to church. When I say our twins, I haven't given birth yet. It's my godchildren, the children of Ayomara Essie, and it was a time for celebration.
Absolutely, really. And I'm looking forward to celebrating you in different forms too.
Amen. I look forward to that as well. How was your weekend?
It was quite restful. It was nice. It was good, and I missed work, so that's why I'm quite excited this morning.
See that.
I want management to reduce our weekend if it's possible.
I agree. I second the motion.
Yeah,
it would be great for us to work 7 days a week.
Olive, this your new pattern of speaking. Is it that you stop playing?
No, because I can't.
No, you are matured
I lost
now.
My voice. So I can't really project as much.
It's giving rich auntie vibes. That's why I want to be talking like this. You know, it's giving maturity.
You know, when you lose your voice, you have to then talk really carefully because if I try to talk louder, people will then realize I've lost my voice. And I could worsen
escalate.
So I just talk in a demure, mindful, classy way.
But if you feel, I mean, you can't go on, we can replace you with General.
Eric.
No, General.
The white lion.
The brown lion. He just has to wear a wig and behave like you for a little bit. The viewers will know.
It's not brown lion I want. It's Mayokun, our director.
No, it's stomach.
Because it's very easy.
Sorry to stomach shame him. He can't walk.
Let's move away from all the trivialities and let you know that we're streaming live on YouTube. News Central TV is the platform if you want to drop a comment regarding any of the things that we're saying and discussing today. But first, let's share with you our first story, wake-up conversations, controversy trail, President Tinubu's convoy during Kaduna visit. Let's take a look at the video that's gotten people talking. Okay, the video, I believe, is at the last count. If I'm not mistaken, I did not even bother counting.
60 plus.
I did not bother.
I mean, people on social media counted. To give a conservative estimate, it was at least 60 cars in that convoy. And they said, look, is this what we're going to be paying taxes for people to buy Lexus SUVs? And those cars in the convoy, majority of them were SUVs. There's an ambulance, there's security cars and all of that. But it did bring about, and this is not the first time Nigerians are seeing this or talking about the waste in government. But in defense of the government, they will say, look, when the president, yes, according to news from Netizens, they counted 98 cars.
98.
Yeah, but in defense of the presidency, all those cars don't belong to the office of the presidency. There are some maybe service chiefs and government officials. Yes, and they join the convoy. But still, I mean, it's a lot. But seeing is believing. It would be nice to put up the video.
First of all, why were they driving like maniacs? What was that driving?
It's called defensive.
Are we doing Formula
and tactical driving? Maybe they're driving like this and bandits are holding press conference in Kaduna. We'll get to that story later.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are very expensive, luxurious.
And I wonder when the time will come when we look at the president's convoy and see Nigerian-made car brands that are assembled here in Nigeria.
You look at this, and you look at the state of some schools, primary healthcare facilities in the country, and you wonder what is really priority. We're not really cutting our coat to a size. And is this why you want to squeeze more money? So there's an FRSC convoy, there are police vehicles in that convoy. But I mean,
and why are they driving like hooligans?
Yeah, and there's no security threat there. You've already stopped vehicular traffic for other cars. So why are you doing all that reckless driving for?
Okay. So now to look at the details of this case and first of all, I don't understand what this bike man is doing. Later we'll be complaining about the regular Okada guys that are driving like maniacs. Because what was this rubbish? And why was it necessary?
Well, it's called show of force.
Show of force.
Yes.
With all the people who are welcoming the president.
So in case you are trying to do anything, they can jam you.
They will let you know if you do anyhow, you go see anyhow.
Exactly.
Anyway, just to mention that why Nigerians often push back on, well, interesting, whether or not there's stunt bikes and, there's a crowd here. I would say that the reason why people would often criticize shows like this, or what they would consider a show off, because this humongous convoy, they would argue, isn't absolutely necessary. Why? Because in a country where there have been some very strong, very radical changes policy-wise that have been made. That has
affected the people adversely. Yes.
Exactly, and these have affected the people. I said to someone last week, or I think it was 2 weeks ago, we're having a conversation off camera. I said, if the government is making policy changes, Nigerians will complain less if they feel like the government is also cutting costs, and the government is also working. That thing of not feeling like they're being hypocritical and that they're working alone. That the reason why a number of Nigerians complain about the seeming lavishness of the current administration is because it feels like it's only the people that have to bear the brunt.
There's a real huge disconnect. I mean, look at this SUVs. The minimum there goes for 100. Let's put it at 150 million conservative estimate. The year 2024-2025 Lexus SUVs, and these are very expensive vehicles. And you've told the people, like you rightly said, tighten your belt. But the optics are different. They live a different reality. And there's such a huge disconnect from the government and the leadership of this country. And this doesn't really mean well. There's a way you can be prudent, you can cut. Where are you going to? I mean, it's a private event. I believe it was a wedding. And then you show up with almost a battalion of aides and dignitaries.
Speaking about wedding, why do you think that, do you think there was any political undertone to the wedding that he attended?
Yeah, of course. I mean, his presence alone is a present, to put it that way, for the father of the groom. So at that level, he wouldn't attend any, if he didn't have any political meanings, or if he didn't regard the celebrant as someone that is worthy of reckoning. And this is his second visit to Kaduna since he took over as president of Nigeria.
In case you're wondering what wedding it was, it's Senator Yari, Senator Abdulaziz Yari, that's the former Zamfara state governor. His son was getting married at the Sultan Bello Mosque in Kaduna. And this wedding attracted top political leaders, traditional rulers, religious figures, and captains of industry from across the country. Ahead of the ceremony, security was, of course, tightened in Kaduna with surveillance cameras, heightened, and hotels fully booked by the guests. And you could see that on the wedding day, heavy security presence was noticed around the mosque, with restrictions placed on vehicular movement. And the president was received at the Kaduna International Airport by Governor Uba Sani, and was cheered into the city by party loyalists. You could see in that video a number of people carrying the APC flags and waving it. And these people lined the streets waving banners and chanting solidarity songs. After the ceremony, President Tinubu proceeded to the residence of late President Muhammadu Buhari's wife, late President Muhammadu Buhari, to console with his family. He described Buhari as a selfless leader whose contributions to Nigeria's unity and progress remains indelible, assuring the family of his continuous support. Now, if you can see the tweets there. Governor Basani says, "Today I have the honor of receiving His Excellency President Bola Tinubu GCFR in Kaduna State. As chief host, I accompanied Mr. President to the wedding ceremony between Nasiruddin Yari, son of Senator Abubakar Yari, who represents Zamfara West, and Safia Shehu Idris. The wedding took place at the Sultan Bello Mosque shortly after the Jumat prayers, and it was a joyous occasion that brought together leaders, friends, and well-wishers from across Nigeria. Following the wedding, I was privileged to join President Tinubu on a courtesy visit to Hajia Aisha Buhari, widow of our late former president, Muhammadu Buhari, at the family residence here in Kaduna. It was a moment of respect, solidarity, and reflection. That's what Senator Ubasani had to say about the whole.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying with regards to this. Yes, Vintage Odogu Patrick Slick.
What's his name?
Yeah, Vintage Odogu. It says, do you know what it takes to fuel these convoys, maintain them? Seeing those adult Almajiris waving APC flags tells you all you need to know. That
is the fact that he called some human beings adult Almajiris.
Mr. President just said party loyalists and faithful came out to welcome him, and you're calling them
adult Almajiri.
That's not nice. It's not a nice thing to say on a Monday morning. And he ends by saying, last, stomach infrastructure will finish. Nigerians. Patrick Sleep, ancient vintage Odogu. Certified Boy says 98 cars just to escort one man who can't even walk past without holding a railing. Meanwhile, Nigerians are trekking to work because fuel prices is like buying perfume now. If the president needs almost 100 cars to feel safe in Kaduna, doesn't that already tell you the country is finished? Lijoka Olawale says it's wrong and misleading to say all those vehicles make Tinubu's convoy. We have at least 5 governors, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Senate President, and some VIP who had followed the President on this visit. Let's learn to put things in proper perspective. So he has a point there, but still, I mean...
Hey, who is this next of kin that says, person will promise us security, they insecure?
Yeah. I mean, all those convoys are not, all the vehicles in the convoy are not security vehicles, so that's another point to note. Saint Onike says, the problem is with the ostentatious lifestyle of Nigerian politicians and rulers. They believe only in splendor. I saw the convoy. I also did that. I also saw that video of the FIRS boss. President and other elected officials leave large, mostly on borrowed funds, until Nigerians are ready for this conversation, no end. I mean, we need to add some austerity and prudent management into the lifestyle. I mean, he's head of Nigeria's revenue agency. You would think it was the chief of defense staff that was showing up to an office. You know, the DSS officials in tactical gear, men in suit jogging after the SUV, the way they open the door. It's a civilian appointment, and you're head of the revenue agency. I'm not saying you don't deserve security,
but you should
calm
see
down. The convoy, please calm
down. Exactly. Like, take a deep breath. So that's
and
the problem.
People are watching.
The problem is
want us to make sacrifices. Next January, the new tax regime will kick in, and the Nigerians will be further squeezed. They're also asking, like, what do we gain? Look at Lagos, for example. Drive around Lagos. Lagos continuously boasts as, you know, generating the highest revenue. But what are they using it for? The state of infrastructure is none to write home about. A major part of Lagos, the capital, Ikeja, I don't even call them potholes anymore. They are craters. You think it's Gaza. The level of crater you see, it's not even potholes.
So,
and I mean, it doesn't reflect well.
I would say that there's, of course, the ostentatious lifestyle that our Nigerian politicians often flaunt. You know, this level of wealth and really it is the audacity for me of Nigerian politicians. But I don't think it's entirely about Nigerian politicians. I think also it's a Nigerian thing that the average Nigerian has an overwhelming desire to show off. It's why things like I better pass my neighbor were named in the first place. That desire to show wealth and affluence and power and influence is why somebody who, you know, has just started their journey in life, has more money, you get a lavish car, you get the mobile police. And it's also, all you need to do to enter certain even events where you don't even have an invite. All you just need to do is appear big, look big, and then have Mopo with you.
Or have praise singers.
They'll just, exactly, just so you know what's working. So that's a challenge that we have as a people that need, it's not just the politicians, it's the regular MD of a company, the regular staff of a company. You know, somebody who's just, I always use this as a fun example. It sounds very silly and lighthearted, But it's true, even the usher at the party that is sharing food.
Oh,
you
yes.
see that
everybody
small power
has this sense of self-importance.
Exactly. Once you give them a little bit of authority or power, they want to wield it over everyone. So I think that it's fundamentally the average Nigerian first, then it is the Nigerian politicians.
Absolutely.
So if Nigerian politicians are asking Nigerians to cut down on their way of life, on their spending, it would be imperative that we see that being reflected as well, in their own lives as well, so
Absolutely.
that it feels balanced.
So, to our next wake-up conversation, UNICAL, University of Calabar, is in the news again as UNICAL withdraws clinical students to meet quota. Let's have a look at that circular and then we'll get back to the details. Nigerian doctor says University of Calabar withdraws clinical students to meet quota, and he's writing a letter to the Minister of Education. Dear Dr. Alausa, Minister of Education, University of Calabar reportedly admitted 700 plus students and has now allegedly withdrawn many of them in a bid to meet the medical MDCN quota. This is despite them not failing courses and having CGPA as high as 4.0. As you can read in the NGLs, this decision has evoked strong reactions of despair in students and parents. I hereby plead with our education and health leaders to kindly investigate these claims, as lives may be at stake.
Well, anyway, these are some of the reactions. Sharon Ofo says, University of Calabar admitted students more than the required quota. Now they are unjustly screening us out of various departments after we've reached the requirements with CGPA of more than 3.5. We need justice for all nursing and medicine students. This is unfair, Sharon says. Our next tweet, there have been some anonymous messages. Someone says, good day, sir. Please, UNICAL is removing students from their medical department 200 level after giving them admission and paying tuition fee. And I know two who have refused to eat since yesterday and are seriously crying and thinking of suicide. Please lend them a voice, and they're both on 4-point CGPA. Some more anonymous messages. This one says, at the University of Calabar, department admitted 700 plus students for 2024-2025 quota, far above the quota. Now, many of us are being unfairly screened out despite meeting all requirements. I personally have a CGPA of 4.03, above the cutoff, yet I was dropped. This is unjust. This is greedy. After 7 years at home, I finally entered med school at University of Calabar with an excellent CGPA. Now I'm being asked to leave under unclear circumstances. My dream of becoming a doctor is slipping away. My heart bleeds pain. Good day, Ma. We, the medical science students of the University of Calabar, need your help. We were dropped from our present department and asked to change to other departments. This is unfair as the management has no valid reason for doing such. Students and parents are wishing to take their lives. So first of all, I expect to get at this point, UNICAL should have put out a press statement. I checked X, I didn't see any social media statement. So I think at this point, if they take their university serious and they take Nigerians serious, they should put a statement to that effect. That's one. Two, if we go by the details shared by these people and we have to take it as truth, then it's a shame. And that somebody needs to take the fall for it. Somebody needs to be reprimanded, because this is a clear case of injustice. We see this happen many times in many situations where people take much more than they can handle, and at the end of the day, some other things have to suffer for it. We're not talking about eating more food than your tummy can handle here. We're talking about the lives, people's destinies, people's visions and dreams, So it's, at the end of the day, this is something that a lot of people's dreams and visions, hopes and aspirations is tied to that careless thing.
How do these things happen? If you have a quota, why didn't you stick to the quota?
Because of long truth. Before this UNICAL story, what we used to see back then would be that a number of universities would admit students. They know fully well that they are not accredited. Exactly, they're not accredited for. They would give you the impression that there's an accreditation. By your third year, you find out that you're not accredited. You now have to switch courses to another course. that has proper accreditation. Why are we so shabby?
One of the reasons this sort of things happen, and why we've seen it happen time over time, is because of a lack of consequences. If examples have been made of people that destroy the lives of people, because this has a tendency to destroy people's lives.
People talking about
imagine how
suicidal.
distraught they are, thinking suicide, people's lifelong dreams. Somebody stayed at home for 7 years, finally got admission to study medicine, and this is happening for no justifiable reason. And then you even you shouldn't even try to screen them out at this point in the first place. Why did you go above the quota? So if you're looking at the CGPO, you want to weed the weak students out, there's no methodology towards it. It's random and it's criminal. I expect the university authorities, the Minister of Education is very proactive to step in and do something about this.
And even the Nigerian Medical Association, because at the end of the day, these are potential doctors. In a country where we are complaining about a shortage of doctors, mass migration and exodus of doctors from here, the patient-to-doctor ratio as prescribed by WHO and UNICEF. Is it WHO or UNICEF? I'm not sure now.
WHO.
Is one doctor to, I think, 500 or 600 patients. We have one doctor to over 10,000. And in a country like that, our excitement should be that more doctors will be,
what's the basis
will be brought into the system.
Yes.
So
the entire, the whole stakeholders need to sit down. We need to know what's really going on there and find a solution to it, because this can't hold.
And more universities should please stop this rubbish that they do, where you're admitting people, you don't have the, what they call it, accreditation. You're then having faith.
And universities, look, your primary assignment, your primary duty is to impart knowledge on the lives of people. You're not a revenue-generating organization. And we've seen the push for people to just, make money, extort, try and get as much as possible without having forgotten the fundamental reasons why they're there in the first place. So it would be nice for the federal government, the Ministry of Education, and all stakeholders to urgently look at this situation with the medical students in the University of Calabar as a matter of national importance and urgency. Yes.
All right, let's take a few reactions from X and see what Nigerians are saying about that, about the UNICAL incident. When people say, "May Nigeria never happen to you," emergency lovers of Nigeria will call you names. How does it make sense for an institution to admit students knowing its limited quota, only to turn around years later after the students have suffered physically, mentally, and financially, and ask them to change their course or leave? Isn't this enough to drive someone into depression or even cause them to lose their sanity? Femi says, "I will say my mind. The problem started when school couldn't do accreditation. Instead of the public to call the school for incompetence and scamming the students, the public went ahead to call out the Tinubu government. Now, Peter Obi came on the spotlight to pay the money to run accreditation, which shouldn't be, because each department, with the help of faculty, should be able to run accreditation for their course. How come the school collected school fees for 6 years and couldn't afford to pass accreditation? This is a criminal offense to me. I'm not blaming Peter Obi for paying the accreditation, but the first step is to arrest and question the school authorities for not meeting up while other departments met up. After that one, he can pay for the accreditation." Okay. And then Aproko Doctor tweets as well, saying, "News just reaching me is that UNICAL recently screened out 600 medical students from a class of 900 just to meet MDCN quotas. Dear Dr. Tunji Alausa, many of these students have done nothing wrong. They have CGPAs above 4.0 and have not failed any courses. The reasons given, such as late JAMB regularization applications and multiple O-level sittings, issues that arose after admission, shouldn't stand. These students have invested years of their lives and significant resources into their medical education, only to be asked to change programs or leave entirely. Please, I urge our education and consent stakeholders to investigate the situation urgently. We cannot afford to lose potential doctors to administrative decisions, especially when they are performing academically. Our healthcare system needs every qualified medical graduate we can get." Exactly what I said.
What you emphasized.
Exactly. Yeah. Please look into this matter, and it adds a number of bodies. That's what our Aproko Doctor had to say about the matter. But yes, it's not a good look.
Our Bello says, "At this critical need of health workers, I believe a solution should be found to this. Those students must graduate. Nigeria needs doctors, absolutely. And Peter says, at this point, I think it's very important for necessary institutions to look into the administrative activities of University of Calabar. First, it was engineering, then dentistry, and now medicine. It seems the school is hell-bent on frustrating the students. I mean, if it happens once, twice, coincidence, but these are repeated incidences, and absolutely, I agree with you that they need to look at what's going on in the University of Calabar. You're dealing with people's lives. And you know, when you have these administrative issues and all of that, the students are always the victims, the fall guys. It's easy, okay, you take all decisions, but they always end up hurting the students more than any other party or stakeholder. Yeah.
Well, I went on YouTube. Of course, we're streaming live on YouTube, and some of our followers often drop comments reacting to the stories. Akini says the extravagant politicians have not learned anything from the Nepal debacle. He's, of course, referring to our initial conversation about the lavish entourage, as well convoy. As you know, politicians and their way of life. And then Mokunye Chukwuemeka says, in response to Akini, he said the politicians know Nigerians won't do anything. Just give them stomach infrastructure and they are back to supporting them. Shots fired. Anyway, our final conversation, I mean, you just suppose this particular story vis-a-vis the earlier one where we talk about the president's alleged convoy to the wedding in Kaduna. Bandit frees 40 captives and warns government against striking his cap. He grants a press release, and he's speaking in Hausa. Let's listen for a few seconds and then I'll interpret. Let's play it.
And we'll translate for you in the studio.
An ba su kimanin mutum 30 can 27 ga 30 kenan. Su aka ba da an hada nawa kenan. An samu kimanin mutum 70 har da biyu. Kuma ba wani abu ba yasa aka bada su ta dalilin sasancin da aka yi. Ba wai wata barazana aka yi mu wanda suke rike da su ba. Ba ƙarfin yaƙi aka nuna ba. Alƙawalin.
So we got help, someone helped us interpret it, and says what he was saying is that government is not sincere in the peace deal. They made a peace deal and they released some people, then the government came back and killed their people, including the innocent people. If the government will not uphold the deal they made in the name of God, they will go back to their former position, that nobody has monopoly of violence and no life is superior to the other, that the government attack them first, and if they retaliate, they will put it out to the media that these terrorists are the ones attacking unprovoked. He said that if the government will not uphold the peace deal, they'll go back to doing what they know how to do best. And you already know what they know how to do best. And that video is incredibly interesting because...
incredibly shocking.
In a country where we have security forces, armed forces, a democratic country...
Not a lawless country.
Not a banana republic where some would argue against that. That a bandit is giving press release. He has people there, and he's negotiating government, and he's warning government, saying, don't attack me.
Goodwill.
I release 40 people.
Extending the olive branch.
Then no, it's not me that they're extending.
This is not olive branch.
No, it's this olive branch that you're wearing. They'll tell you that it's the kinetic means. Non-kinetic means, I beg your pardon, that they have to employ, that you cannot win the war against insecurity.
You can't shoot your way through insecurity.
Oh, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
It's what it is.
I'm not a security expert.
And people will argue that, look, if the purpose is to stop people from killing, then if you're going to have to make a handshake with the devil, then it's worth it at the end of the day, because we've tried kinetic means, we've tried to shoot our way through, but it's not working. So if you could negotiate, pending when you have a permanent solution, then if it's going to save lives, you can go ahead and try those non-kinetic means. But let's take reactions from X and see what Nigerians are saying. Clement Okechukwu says, I have a genuine question. How do bandits with no barracks, air support, numbers, or even proper weapons manage to overpower an entire country's military, arguably the best land force in West Africa? I mean, we're also wondering how that happens. Adebola Badiru says, on his chest about 15 magazines. Each magazine holds about 30 rounds of ammunition. If you account for the one with his AK-47, we're talking an estimate of about 500 rounds of ammunition to him. One granite, one ammunition cost as of 2022 is 1,000 naira in the black market. How does a Nigerian soldier, how many does a Nigerian soldier carry on his person at all times? Roughly 60. Food for thought there. Mufaxa says, so he said the government is attacking them, that government should leave them. What is his occupation? So government should leave them and let them carry out their operations. What we're doing...
What they are doing is not against Sharia law.
What they're, but an artist...
But an artist or anyone who sings against their religion is sentenced to death, even in court, not a jungle justice. Wow. I mean, that's a bit of a confusing one. He has a phone, a SIM card, they have his location, he does several media rounds, yet he's still walking around alive and free, Essence says. Just look at it. Human being, you are calling it. His boldness, and Minister of Defense is still alive. No official statement from our military, Air Force, even President. As for a spokesman, I know that they will tell us the bandits are just joking. Then I don't understand that tweet. But maybe we should ask you, let us know what you think about this press release granted by this bandit, talking about how he's released 40 prisoners. Again, like you said, some would say that whatever is done to achieve less killing of lives is worth it. But the argument about whether or not this non-kinetic approach is effective is an argument that I don't think will quite run out.
Yeah, me too. Just for the argument's sake, it's you're making an industry out of this. It's a business. It's going to be lucrative. If you know the government is not going to attack you, what are the motivating factors for you to drop your weapons? What job are you going to do? Because you've picked the way of violence, and that's the only way you know. But hopefully we get a statement, and we do deserve, it's not hopefully, we need the Ministry of Defense to address Nigerians with regards to this situation and the Katsina State government, because you can have bandits with very heavy military grade weapons, general purpose machine guns, AK-47s, holding press conferences. It's not a lawless state. Well,
it isn't a lawless state. Let's go on top story break, if that's a thing, to let you know what our top stories are this morning on Breakfast Central. And we'll begin this morning in Rivers State. Emergency rule aftermath. Will Governor Fubara rule without interference? Question mark. That needs to be answered. Mandela's fire. Shop owner apologizes to New Central's journalist over attack. He joins us this morning as well on Breakfast Central. Rabiu Kwankwaso declares interest to rejoin APC on his terms. Kwankwaso has said Kunduga youths in Borno State seek relocation and return of higher institution. The newspaper front pages will be a part of the show. Join us for all these and more.